Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we started our discussion related to Spring Web MVC form tag library. Spring Web MVC module provided form tag library to simplify forms development. So there are several tags available: form tag, input tag, password tag, radio button, select tag, checkbox tag, like that. There are several tags available in the Spring MVC form tag library. By using those tags, we are able to develop our application. In this application, we are using embedded database. So embedded database is nothing but in-memory database. So a ready-made database will be provided by our application to store our data. This embedded database will be available when our application is in the running mode. If application is started, then the database will start. If application is stopped, then database will be stopped. It is just for temporary purpose. Now, let us access that application localhost :8080. So we can see our student registration form that we have developed in the last session. Student registration form is available that we have developed in the last session. Now, how to access embedded database of our application? Embedded database will be accessed by using h2-console. Now, when the h2-console is open, we can connect to that console and we can see our database. As we have entity class in the application, with that entity class, a table is created. When you see the table data, 0 rows, no records are available in this table currently. 0 records are available. Now, let me insert one record in the table. Ashok IT school, mail, DevOps, morning and evening. Click on save. Student saved. Now go and check in the database. Yes, the record is inserted in the table. So with this, we are able to develop student registration form. That form we developed by using MVC tag library. So let's go to our JSP page, web app, views, index.jsp. If you observe, in this project, we are using this tag lib directive, MVC form tag library available. To use WebMVC form tag library, we have to use below directive. So tag lib directive we are using to specify we want to use Spring MVC form tag library. With that, we are able to access form tag, input tag, radio button tag, select tag, option tag, checkboxes tag, like that. Right. So here I have given action. Whenever you click on the submit button, first, whenever you access the application URL, this method will be called. It is written in the index page. In the index page, our student registration form is displayed. Whenever you click on the submit button, then it is going to call this post request method. It is taking the form data. It is storing the data into database table and it is displaying success message on the same page. Now, I want to display one hyperlink to retrieve student records and display in the another page. So to display a hyperlink, I'm going for ahref view students. Now here I'm giving view students. Simple, one hyperlink I have added. For that hyperlink I have given action ahref is equal to view students. Now go here and refresh. Now you can see view students hyperlink is coming. Whenever I click on this hyperlink, it should call this method called view students method. When I click on this hyperlink, it should call view students method. In the controller, we need to write a method to display saved students data. Let's write that method: public string get students data. Get students data. Now I want to send the students data. To send the data from controller to UI, we are using model object, right? String represents the logical view name. I'm going to display the logical view name as data. That is the data.jsp. So here it is index.jsp. Here it is data.jsp. I want to bind this method to a get request. For that, I'm using get mapping annotation. To bind our method to a get request, we are going for get mapping annotation /view students, right? /view students. Yes. Now in this index.jsp, we are having a hyperlink. So whenever user click on this hyperlink, then it will call this URL pattern, view students. This URL pattern I'm giving to this method URL pattern. And this method should return the logical view name, which is the data, right? Let me create one file with a name called data.jsp. So create one JSP file, right click on this folder, new, other, JSP file. I'm giving the file name as the data.jsp. Next and finish. Now here I'm going to write page under construction. Page under construction, just to check that my page is loading or not. Here we need to write the logic to fetch and send students data. So this method should fetch the students data from the table and it has to send that data to the UI. Fetch the data and send the data to the UI. That logic we need to write here, and it has to return the data.jsp page available. This page has to display. First, let's verify the page is loading or not. So this is my index page where I can save the student. Click on view students. Perfect. We are able to land on the data.jsp. Now I need to retrieve the data from the database table and I need to send the data to the UI by using model object. We have already injected repository here in our controller. Let us take the repository. So let me write that repository dot find all. I want to get all the students here. When you get all the students, it is giving list of students. It is giving list of students. So list of students data we are getting. So this students data, we can send it to the UI. Either you can send the entity, or again we need to convert the data into binding object and send that binding object to the UI. So I'm not going to do that. Directly I'm going to send this list of student entity data to the UI. How to send the data to the UI? To send the data to the UI, we are using model.add attribute. Model.add attribute. Student list is available as a value, and here I'm using students. Here I'm using students. So here I'm using model.add attribute. Can you guys tell me what is the purpose of model.add attribute? Guys, can you tell me what is the purpose of this model.add attribute? Model is a interface, right? It is a map which is used to send the data from controller to UI. Model is used to send the data from controller to UI. Now, once the data is sent to the UI, I need to print that data. So that data is available in a collection. I want to iterate the collection which is given by the controller. Controller is giving the collection data. Controller is giving the collection data. That collection data, I want to iterate. That collection data I want to iterate and I want to print it. For that, I'm going to use JSTL tag library, guys. JSTL core tag library is available. By using that, we can iterate that collection data. Let me show you how to iterate a collection. Now, view students. How to iterate that collection. First, I'm going to create a table for that. In that table, we will be having T head will be available and T body will be available. Table header will be there and table body will be available. In this T head, one table row, then we will go for TH, that is the serial number. TH name will be available. TH email will be available. Then TH gender, then TH course will be available. Then TH timings. Like this, table row will be displayed. Now, in this table row, view students. Now, the table is coming here. For this table, let me give you a border. Table border is equal to 1. Table border is equal to 1. Let's refresh this page. Yep, table border is coming. Serial number, name, email, gender, course, and timings available. Now, view students here. That students data will be displayed. In this table, I want to add one hyperlink. Ahref add new student. Now here I'm giving nothing. I'm not giving any URL pattern, just I'm giving slash. Now refresh, add new student. When I click on add new student, student form is displaying. When I click on view students, students data should display. So table header is available. Table body we need to display. So to display the table body, we are having data in the form of a list. So whenever you send a get request to this URL, it is retrieving the students data from the database table. It is retrieving student data from the database table. That data is sending to the UI by using model object. Model.add attribute key comma value. By using this key, we can access this value. For that, we are going to use JSTL tag library. C colon for each. C colon for each is available. In this for each, we are having items attribute. Items $of key. So in the Java, we will write a for each loop. In the JSP, we should not write the Java code. That's why we are going for each tag library. C colon for each items is equal to $of students. Now we are able to get the students data. In the Java, how we will write the for each loop? In the Java, we will write the for each loop, right? Similarly, for each, this is my collection. From this collection, take the data and store that data into S variable, or you can store into student variable, and we can take where status is equal to index. Where means from this collection, this is $of students key. With this key, it is going to access this student list. List of students will be available. From this list, take the each student and store into student variable, and the index will be maintained by using where status. Now, for each student, one row should be created. For that, I'm using table row. In that table row, to print the data, we will go for TD. How to access that student data? Student dot, first one is index. So we need to specify where status is equal to index. I'm going to specify index.count. It will represent serial number as 1. Then we need to go for second column data. So where student will be available, student dot name. Now we are getting the entity. In that entity, name is available, email, gender, course, timings available. Now in this JSP, student.name, student.email, gender, course, timings. So name is available, email will be available, gender will be available, course will be available, and timings will be available. Right? So this is used to print the student data in the table. So student data will be inserted into database table. Then when I send a request by using this method, it has to get the student data from the database and it has to send to the UI. To send the data from controller to UI, we are using model attribute. Key, value. Key is students, value is list of students. Now, how to access that students data in the JSP? For that, we are using JSTL core tag library. We are taking that core tag library. We are writing a for each tag. For each tag, we are giving items attribute. Items represents a collection, list of values that we want to iterate. So from this list, take the each record, store into where. Where is a student. Then by using the student, access that record, one table row will be printed. After first record is printed, then it will take the second record, will store into the variable, then second row will be printed. Then it will take the third record, it will print the third row. It will take the fourth record, it will print the fourth row. Like this, it will take the each record from the list and it will print as a row in the table. Now, let's run this application and see that. Currently, there is no record available in the database because our server restarted several times. So our database is also restarted. It is an embedded database. Previous data will not be available. Now our table is empty. Table is empty because our code is modified. In our project, we are having dev tools. What is the purpose of dev tools? Whenever you modify the code, here we are having a dev tools. So in the dev tools, whenever we modify the code, the server will be restarted. Whenever the server is restarted, H2 database will be restarted. When the H2 database is restarted, we will lose our previous data. So that's why in my database, table is empty. Let me insert the record now. Let me insert Raju @gmail.com, gender, Java, morning and evening. Save. student record is saved. Go to view students. Now can you see Raju record is displaying now? Can you see that Raju record is displaying here? Yes, Raju record is displaying here. Now let's click on add new student. So when I click on add new student, so I will go here. I will add Rani. Rani@gmail.com. Gender is male. Course is DevOps. Morning and afternoon. Click on save. View students. Rani record is inserted. Now add new student. Let me add some Suresh. Email suresh@gmail.com. Now mail. Course is Python. Afternoon. Save. View students. Suresh record is also inserted. So are we able to insert the record and are we able to retrieve the record? Guys, are we able to insert the record and are we able to retrieve the record? Yes or no? Perfect. Right. What is the where status here? What is the purpose of where status? Where status is equal to index. Where status will represent our loop index. Where status will represent our loop index. So first record should print serial number as 1. Second record should print serial number as 2. Third record should print serial number as 3. So for that we are using where status. Where status will represent as index. Got it. Yeah. Dhirendra Singh. Ashok, is there any company on this earth will use JSP? JSP is outdated, sir. JSP is not using, very legacy projects are using JSP. We are not teaching the complete Spring Boot with JSP. Only few examples we are going to teach on the JSP, right? I can't skip this JSP part completely, right? If I skip this JSP part completely, people will say that you did not cover Spring Web MVC completely. That is the reason few examples I'm explaining on the JSP, not the complete Spring MVC. Got my point? Right. Use Angular or React. Huh? How many people know Angular in this course? How many people know React in this batch? Do you understand that? To teach the Angular or Spring, to teach Angular or React, this is not Angular course. This is Spring Boot course. To teach the Angular, again, it will take 1 month. Okay. You only know, everybody will not know. Right. 90% of the people in this batch don't know about the Angular or React. So if I teach the Angular or React in this project, in this batch, most of the people will not understand the concept. Okay. So Angular integration, I'm going to show at the end of the course, how to integrate Angular with the Spring Boot. For that, REST API concept should be completed. Still, we did not complete the REST API. So I have given the course content document. In that order, we are going to drive the course. So if you ask me to teach the Angular or React in the middle, that is not possible, sir. I'm sorry. Okay. Good. Angular integration, I will show definitely. Definitely, I'm going to show the Angular integration. Got it. So without using the JSP or time leaf, how can I teach you the Spring Web MVC? I can't teach that. Okay. So we know what to teach, when to teach, which concepts. Sir, please have some patience. Whatever is mentioned in the course content, everything will be covered. I also know that JSP is outdated, but how to teach the Web MVC concepts to the people without having a presentation technology. You understand my point? Yeah. Good. Fine, guys. So all of you able to understand how to insert the record into the table and how to retrieve the records from the table? All of you able to understand how to insert the record into the table and how to retrieve the records from the table? Come on, guys. Please answer my question. If anybody having any questions as of now, please ask your questions. With this, we completed one small project by using Spring Web MVC and Spring Data JPA. We are able to insert the record in the table and we are able to retrieve the records from the table. Got it. If anybody having any question, you can unmute your mic and you can ask.
Sir, on this H2 database, can we take a backup, sir? Let's say we have some good records right now before shutting down.
No, you can't do that, sir. If you are using H2 database, in the real projects, we don't use the H2 database. H2 database is only used for temporary purpose. So if I stop my server, then I'm going to lose the data. Got it? If I stop my server, I'm going to lose the data. It is just for temporary purpose. If anybody want to set up a database to develop some POC, proof of concept, then we are going to use a H2 for temporary purpose. Quickly, you can set up your application with persistence logic. For that reason, we will use this H2. H2 is a temporary database. Good.
Sir, here we can add the entity object details to model class object. Then we can add to.
You can do that.
UI.
You can do that. Yes. So here we are getting the entity list, right? Whenever we call repository.find all, then we are going to get the entity data. Again, we need to take each and every entity. We need to set to the binding class. That binding class we need to send to the UI. In the UI, we will print that binding class data. That process we can do. Yeah. But in the real time, when we are going to develop our microservice based applications, so we are going to use the REST API. REST API will send the data to the UI in the JSON format. That JSON data will be displayed at the UI side, whether it can be Angular or React.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
If I want to insert a date value.
Date value, date of birth.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
So please make a means how control will be save that date class means
you need to represent that as a local date. The data type you need to take as a local date. YYY format you need to take. Then it will insert in the database. The data type should be local date. Yeah.
The front end.
In the front end also you can represent that. No. Date only you can represent.
Okay.
Yeah. Local date. Here we have taken the variable with the string type, right? Whenever you want to take the DOB for the data type, you can use the local date format. When you are filling the data in the form, you need to give YYY/mm/DD format.
Okay, sir. Sir, image and also character large object and binary large object.
Yeah,
also.
blob objects, club objects we can take for that.
Okay, sir.
For binary data. Good.
हेलो सर.
Yes, madam.
सर आप पेमेंट गेटवे का एग्जांपल लेने वाले हैं क्या?
We will discuss in the microservices. I will cover that integration with the payment gate.
Okay, means with the REST API, how to develop that?
Right.
Okay.
Sir, in JSP to get core library, what is the shortcut, sir?
Control double space, sir. So in the JSP, so here core tag library, I'm injecting that, right? I'm going to remove this. Control double space, then you will get the tag lib directive. If you have JSTL dependency in the pom.xml, you will get the suggestion. You select this. Prefix control space. Control double space will give you that option. Shortcut. Okay.
JSTL full form, sir?
Java standard tag library. Java standard tag library. Fine, guys. So are you able to understand how to develop a simple application to insert and retrieve the data using Spring WebMVC and Spring Data JPA? Perfect. So as of now, we used JSP as our presentation technology and we developed our application, right? As an alternate for the JSP, we can go for time leaf. Time leaf is also available. Before going to do the time leaf, I want to push my code into GitHub repository, guys, that I have pushed yesterday. So now I have completed the implementation for data retrieval also. Retrieval is also working. Now I'm going to push this code to GitHub repository that I have done yesterday. Git bash here. How to push it? Git repository is already available. Let me go for Git status. So today I have modified student controller and I modified index.jsp and I have added a new file called data.jsp. Right. Now how to push it? For that we will go for git add --a. Files are added. You can verify the status. Git status. The files are modified. Added to staging area. How to commit the files? Git commit -m. Added view students functionality. Good. Now let's go for git push. Right. I'm doing the git push here so that my code will be pushed to GitHub repository. Can you guys check it in the GitHub? Are you able to access that? Can you guys check it? Are you able to access that? WebMVC application, form app. Yesterday I created a repository. Yes. Now added view students functionality. If you go to SRC, main, Java. Now here, controller. In the controller, I have added a new method which is used to retrieve view students. So latest code is pushed to Git repository, which I have shared yesterday. Perfect. Fine, guys. So I'm not going to spend much time on the JSP as we discussed. JSP is outdated in the market. Now, as an alternate for the JSP, there is another concept called time leaf. So now, when you go for Spring WebMVC, Spring WebMVC supports for multiple presentation technology, guys. Not only JSP, you can use time leaf also as a presentation technology. Now, as of now, we worked with the JSP. Now we are going to use time leaf from now onwards. First, let's understand that time leaf we can use as presentation technology in Spring WebMVC applications. Time leaf we can use as presentation technology in Spring WebMVC based applications. Time leaf is an alternate for JSP. Time leaf is an alternate for JSP. Right. So why we are going for time leaf when the JSP is already available? JSP cannot be executed in the browser directly. When you are using JSP as a presentation technology, JSP files cannot be executed in browser directly. Right? JSP page should be converted into servlet. As every JSP is converting into servlet, it is going to take more time. Whereas time leaf is a template engine that can be used in the HTML pages directly. JSP, if you are using as a presentation technology, whenever we send a request to that controller returning the JSP page, JSP pages cannot be executed in the browser directly. JSP pages should be converted into servlet for execution. Time leaf is a template engine. Time leaf is a template engine which can be used in HTML pages directly. So if you compare JSP and time leaf, performance wise, time leaf is faster than JSP. So if you use JSP as a presentation technology, whenever we send a request for the controller will return the JSP file name. The JSP file cannot be executed in the browser directly. JSP pages should be converted into servlet for the execution. If you use a time leaf is a template engine which can be used in the HTML pages directly. Basically, guys, HTML is used to develop the static web pages. If you want to add dynamic behavior for the HTML pages, then we can go for time leaf. Time leaf we can use as a presentation technology. Are you guys clear with my point? So HTML pages will execute in the browser directly. HTML pages will execute in browser directly. So if you add time leaf to the HTML, we can develop dynamic web pages. HTML plus time leaf, we can use dynamic web pages. By using HTML, we can develop only static web pages. If you want to develop dynamic web pages by using HTML, we can go for time leaf. So if you use HTML pages will be opened in the browser directly. Performance will be faster. If you use a JSP file should be converted to servlet. Then the servlet should send the response to the browser. So when we compare, time leaf is faster than JSP. time leaf pages are faster than JSP pages performance wise. Performance wise, time leaf pages are faster than JSP pages because time leaf is a template engine. It will be used in the HTML pages directly. HTML pages can be opened in the browser directly. Browser can easily understand the HTML and browser will process the HTML. Whereas JSP cannot be executed in the browser. Time leaf introduced to overcome the problems of the JSP. Right, guys? Time leaf introduced to overcome the problems of JSP. Got it? To work with the time leaf in the Spring Boot provided one starter called Spring Boot Starter Time Leaf. Okay, so to develop Spring Web MVC to use time leaf in the boot application, we need to add the below starter in the pom.xml. To use time leaf in boot applications, we need to add below starter. We need to add below starter. What is that starter? Spring Boot Starter Time Leaf. Spring Boot Starter Time Leaf dependency is available. So if you want to add time leaf in our applications, then we need to create a Spring Boot application by using this time leaf starter. So let me create one boot application with the time leaf. File, new, Spring Starter project. I'm going to create the Spring Starter project. So here I'm going to specify Web MVC time leaf app. Web MVC time leaf application. Perfect. Now click on next. So here guys, I'm using Web Starter. I'm using DevTools. Along with this, we need to add the time leaf. For JSP, we have used Embed Jasper. Now we don't need the Embed Jasper because we are using time leaf as a presentation technology. When you are using JSP as a presentation technology, so to compile the JSP files, we have added Tomcat Embed Jasper. Now the Tomcat Embed Jasper is not required because we are not using JSP. We are using time leaf as our presentation technology. Click on next and click on finish. Next and finish. Now with this, our time leaf project got created. So close the unrelated projects. Now let us see our pom.xml. You can see here, we have added Spring Boot Starter Time Leaf dependency. Spring Boot Starter Web dependency is added. Spring Boot DevTools dependency is added. Spring Boot Starter Tomcat dependency is added. Spring Boot Starter Test dependency. So Boot Starter Tomcat dependency coming by default when we have selected Web Starter. Time Leaf dependency I have selected. DevTools I have selected. DevTools is used to restart the server when our code is modified. So with this, our time leaf dependency is added. To use a time leaf in the boot application, we need to add this starter. Right, guys? What is time leaf? Time leaf we can use as a presentation technology in the Spring Web MVC based applications. Time leaf we can use as alternate for JSP. Time leaf we can use as alternate for the JSP. So JSP files cannot be executed in the browser directly. JSP pages should be converted into servlet for the execution. As every JSP should be converted into servlet for the execution, it will decrease performance of the application. Right. So in the other hand, we are going for the time leaf. Time leaf is a template engine which can be used in the HTML pages directly. So whenever we use time leaf, HTML page will execute in the browser directly. So as HTML pages are executing in the browser directly, performance will be faster. In general, what people will say, HTML pages are used to develop the static web pages. If you want to make your application with the dynamic web pages, only HTML is not sufficient. You need to go for JSP. If you go for JSP, performance issue will be available. So as an alternate for the JSP, we are using the time leaf. HTML plus time leaf, we can develop dynamic web pages. Performance wise, time leaf pages are faster than JSP pages. Time leaf introduced to overcome the problems of the JSP. If you want to use a time leaf in your application, then you need to add this dependency in the pom.xml. Okay. Now let me see Spring application development with the time leaf. Application development with the time leaf. Create the boot application with the time leaf starter. Already we are using web starter, that is mandatory. As along with the web starter, we are going to add the time leaf starter also. Create boot application with below dependencies. So what are the dependencies we are using? First one is web starter. New dependency we are adding, that is time leaf starter. What is the correct spelling? Time leaf starter. Yeah, time leaf starter we need to add. Time leaf starter, and we are going to add DevTools dependency. We are adding DevTools dependency for this. Next one. Once the application is created, then we are going to create the required controllers with required methods. Create Spring controller with required methods. Create Spring controller with required methods. Then create time leaf templates. Create time leaf templates under SRC main resources folder. In the resources folder, we are going to create extension is .html. So as we discussed, in the HTML pages, we are going to use time leaf template. So the file extension will be HTML that we are going to create under resources folder templates. Okay. Now, next run the application and test it. It's very simple. No need to configure view resolver also. Run the application and test it. By default, Spring Boot application will detect the time leaf templates which are present inside the resources folder. Now, my project is created. Let me create one controller. Create one controller, new class, message controller. This controller I'm creating inside controller package. I'm creating this controller inside the controller package. So controller wise, no changes, guys. Only view technology is changing. So to represent this class as a controller, we are using @controller annotation. And here we are going to write a method, public string get welcome message. Get welcome message. So how to send the data? To send the data, we are using model object. Public string get welcome message. We are using model object. Now map this method to a get request @get mapping / welcome. Now I want to send a message by using this model attribute. To send the data, I will use model.add attribute key comma value. So which is message attribute value, you can add anything. Welcome to time leaves. Welcome to time leaves. Welcome to time leaf app. That's it. Now model data is added, then return a page. I'm returning the page name as index. So that is index.html. So this is the view name. So my controller class is created. To represent this class as a controller, we are using @controller annotation. And I'm writing a method. My method is binded to get request / welcome. So here get welcome message method is available. This method is taking model object as a parameter. This model we are using to return the data from controller to UI by using add attribute method. Key comma value. This is my index page. So index template, where we need to create the index template. In the resources, we are having a templates folder. Guys, observe under SRC main resources, here we are having templates folder. In this templates folder, I'm going to create index.html. I'm going to create one HTML file. By default, this HTML is getting created under the web app. You need to select it properly. Templates folder we have to select. So give the file name as index.html. Now that index.html file is created inside the templates. This is my HTML. In the HTML, we can use only static data. But now I want to display dynamic data. So to display the dynamic data, I need to include time leaf in the HTML. How to include time leaf in the HTML? Here, to To use the time leaf in the HTML, we need to write XML namespace colon. XML namespace colon time leaf is equal to the URL of the time leaf. So the time leaf URL http://www.timeleaf.org. So like this you need to specify. Like this you need to specify time leaf template in the HTML. So whatever the tags that are provided by the time leaf, we can access by using this th. XML namespace colon th http://www.timeleaf.org. All right. Now let's access that data. I want to print that as a paragraph. th colon text. Time leaf colon text is equal to my text is available in a variable $message. $message is available. Like this, we can print the message which is sending from controller to UI. Controller sending the message to the UI. Controller don't know UI is a JSP or UI is a time leaf. Our controller will never know that. Controllers are loosely coupled from the view technology. Last time we used JSP as a presentation technology. This time we are using time leaf as a presentation technology. Controller don't know about that. Controller will just handle the request. Controller will set the data to the model, will return the model data, and will return the view page to the dispatcher. Dispatcher will take care of that. Dispatcher will give to the view. View will render this data. In this HTML, we are using time leaf. That's it. Now go to properties file. I'm not adding anything. No need to configure view resolver also, because whenever we return the view name, it will check that is there any template available by default. Template index is available. th colon text. It is used to access data which is present in the key, and that data will be printed. Let's run this. Right click, run as boot application. I'm running this boot application. Perfect. Right, in.Ashok IT application is started. Now you see Tomcat server is started with the port number 8080. Right, starting the service. So Tomcat server started with the port number 8080. Context path is not available. Let me send you a request to our application controller method /welcome. Go here, localhost colon 8080/welcome. Now, are you able to access it? Are we able to access our time leaf page? Are we able to access our time leaf page? Yes, we are able to access our time leaf page. Clear? Right. So what is time leaf? Time leaf is alternate for the JSP. What is time leaf? Time leaf is alternate for the JSP. So see the procedure: application development with time leaf, create boot app with below dependencies, web starter, time leaf starter, dev tools. Create Spring controller with required methods. Create time leaf template under the resources folder. SRC main resources templates. SRC main resources. In the resources, we are creating inside the templates. Templates folder. File extension is .html because it is a HTML file. File extension is the .html. So in this HTML file, what we are doing? We are using time leaf template. So once we use this time leaf template in the HTML, time leaf text we can access th colon text. th colon text we can do like this. So it will print the value which is available in the key, $message. Message is a key which we are sending from the controller. Whatever the value available in the key, that value we can access in the HTML page. Right. Are you guys clear? What is time leaf and how to develop application by using time leaf? Are you guys clear with time leaf? How to develop the application by using time leaf? Come on, guys. Yeah. Perfect. Can we develop one form by using time leaf? Can we develop one form by using time leaf? Form based application. I want to develop a form by using time leaf, and I want to submit that form data. I want to develop a form by using time leaf, and I want to take that form data. Okay. Can I do it now? Can I do it now? I want to develop a form by using time leaf templates. Right. Okay. Let's go here in the same project. Here I want to develop a form. A product form I am going to develop. For this, I'm going to create one binding class, new class in dot Ashok IT dot binding to capture the form data into a Java object. I'm taking a class with a name called product. For this product, I'm giving private integer product ID, private string product name, private double product price. Product ID, product name, product price. So for this class variables, I want setters and getters. Right click, select all and generate. To see the data available in the object, I am overriding toString method. To see the data available in the object, I am overriding toString method. Perfect. Good. So with this, product class is created. Now I want to build a form. For that, I need to create one controller. I'm creating a controller with a name called product controller. I'm creating a name, a class with a name called product controller. Okay. So now to make this as a controller, we will use annotation called @controller. I need two methods. Method to display the form, method to display the form, method to handle form submission. Okay. I want to write the two methods. One method is used to display the form. Another method is used to handle the form submission. So public string load form. So I want to bind the data to the form by using model object. So for that, I'm using model.add attribute key, which is product, value is a new product. I'm creating empty binding object and I'm sending to the UI. Then I'm going to return index. Index is my page, which I want to display. Let me bind this method to a get request by using @get mapping. By using @get mapping, I'm sending get request. So when I send a get request to this URL, it should open index page. What I want to do in the index, I want to display a form here. In the index, I want to display a form. So that form I want to develop by using time leaf. So to use the time leaf in the HTML, we need to add this time leaf namespace, right? So let's add the form. Here to develop the form, I'm using form tag. Form tag. Inside this form, we need to use time leaf template, right? So to represent action by using time leaf, we are going to use th:\action. th:\action. Action will be represented like this with the curly braces, right? So /product. That is my URL pattern. How to bind this data to a object? For that, we are using th::object. th::object is equal to our binding class. Our binding class will be represented as a product. And I want to specify method is equal to post. Whatever the form I am submitting, this form should be submitted with a post request. So here, form action I am representing by using th::action. Form binding object I am representing by using th. What is this th? Th is a namespace here. So that means it is representing time leaf template. Method is equal to post. Now, to display the form, I'm going to take a table. In this table, I will write a tr, then a td, label will be available, and here actual tag will be available. Product ID, product name, product price, submit button. Now, I'm going to take this label name as product ID. This label, I will take it as product name. And this label, I will take it as product price. Here, I will take a button. Input type is equal to submit. value is equal to submit. That's it. Now I want to display product ID as a text field. To display a text field, we will go for input type is equal to text. Input type is equal to text. How to bind this field to our Java binding class object? This field should be binded to this variable, right? How to bind this field data to that variable? That's where th colon field comes into picture. Star th colon field comes into picture, star of PID. So star of PID, it represents that whatever the data that you enter in this text field, it should store into product class PID variable. That is form binding. This form is binded to product class object. This product ID text field is binded to PID variable available in the product class. We no need to capture the form data, form binding concept available in the Spring MVC. So whenever you submit the form, that form data should be stored into PID variable. Similarly, for the product name, for the product price also, input type is equal to text, input type is equal to text. Here, P name will be available. Here, price will be available. Here, price will be available. Got it? So like this, we are displaying a form by using HTML plus time leaf. So earlier we used path attribute to map the text field data to the binding class object variable. So in the JSP, we used path attribute. In the time leaf, we are using field attribute. That is a difference. That is the difference. Right. Good. See, total 3 types of symbols I'm using, guys. For the action, I'm using @. For binding object, I'm using $. For the field mapping, I'm using star. This is time leaf syntax. Right. Now, let's go to controller. Let me write a method to handle the form submission. Form will be submitted using a post request, public string, handle submit button. Handle submit button. We are expecting the product object data and we are expecting the model object. This product data will come from the form. Form data will be stored into product and we are getting that data. And the model is used to send the data to the UI. I just want to send a success message. We already know how to save that data into database. Now I am not doing that. I'm just printing on the console for confirmation. Are we able to get that form data into Java object or not? Once we get that data, I'm going for model.add attribute, key comma value. I'm using message form data saved, product saved. Just I want to send a success message. Just I want to send a success message, product saved. Right. Bind this method to post request. For that, I'm using post mapping / product. Right? Post product. This method is binded to post request with a URL pattern / product. So whenever you submit this form, then it will send a request to this URL pattern post request. Right? In the product controller, there is a method which is binded to post request with URL / product. It will capture the form data and it will print on the console. Later you can save on the database also. And it is sending a success message to the UI using model. This data I want to access in the same page. So how to access this data on the same page? So by using th colon text is equal to $ of that key. Th colon text is equal to $ of that key. That message should be displayed as a paragraph. Good. Let's run this application. Run as boot application. Application started. Application started. Now let's try to access this application. Yeah, form is displayed, product ID, product name, product price. It is a HTML page only, guys. So if you want, you can add some title, product form. Now refresh. Now you can see product form is displayed, ID, name, and price. Go to console. In the console, there is no data available. Right? Now let me add the ID 1, product name is keyboard, product price is 500. Click on submit. Error. Localhost : 404 error we are getting /product. Okay, let us see why we are getting /product URL pattern /product. Yeah. So what is the problem? Spelling mistake. It is not able to identify correct URL pattern. There is a spelling mistake. Right. So see here, guys, when I change the code, automatically server is restarted because we are having dev tools. Automatically our server is restarted because of dev tools. Perfect. Good. Now let me load the form again. /product. Yeah. Product ID is 1. Product name is keyboard. Price is 500. Clear our console. Clear our console. Now click on submit. Product saved. That message is coming. Now can you see? Are we able to capture the form data? Are we able to capture the form data? Come on. Are we able to capture the form data or not? Yes, we are able to capture form data. Now we can insert that data into database by using repository.save method. That is not already we have done in the previous example how to insert the record into database. We are able to insert the record into database. So easy. Is there any change in controller when I'm using JSP, when I'm using time leaf? Is there any change required for the controller, guys? Is there any change that is required for the controller, or there is no change required for the controller? Is there any change required for the controller? There is no change in the controller. There is no change in the controller. The only thing is, earlier we used index JSP, now we used index time leaf, index HTML. That's it. That's it. Completely loosely coupled. Our controller is completely loosely coupled with the view technology. Our controller is loosely coupled with the view technology. You can use time leaf or you can use JSP as a view technology. That is not a problem. That's not a problem. Right. Can we do validation for this form? Now, if you observe, my form is available. My form is available. I'm clicking on the submit button. Without entering the data, it is giving the message as product saved, empty data, null value submitted to the server. So is it recommended to allow the user to submit the form without entering the data? No, it's not recommended to allow the user to submit the form. Here, my form does not have any validation, but still user is able to submit that form. Still user is able to submit that form. Is it recommended to do like this, or it is not recommended to do like this? Is it recommended to do like this, or it is not recommended to do like this? Not recommended to do like this. Can we perform form validation now? Shall I continue or tomorrow? I want to add the validations for this form. Shall I continue or you will practice it tomorrow? Tomorrow, please. Huh? Okay. I will push this time leaf example to my GitHub. Wait a minute. Go to GitHub. Let me check. Do I have any app with time leaf? Time leaf app is not available, guys. I will add one project. Spring Boot time leaf app. Spring Boot time leaf app I'm creating. I will push this code to GitHub. Tomorrow, I will make the changes to the same project to perform the validations, right? Time leaf application is available. Let me open my Git bash. Giving each and every file in the notes is difficult, guys. That's why I'm adding Git repository in the notes. Is that okay? Is that okay? If I push it into GitHub. Yeah. Let me go to Git bash. Sorry. Let me push my code into Git bash. GitHub repository using Git bash. So this is brand new project. I'm going to use git init command to initialize this. Git add dot, then git commit -m. This is my initial commit. As I'm doing the commit for first time, I need to specify the branch name, git branch -m. I'm adding my remote repository URL. I'm doing the git push, origin main. Okay, done. Git push is completed. Refresh. You can see TimeLeaf project is pushed to GitHub repository. I will mention this in the notes also. Git repository URL. Yeah, this is TimeLeaf application GitHub repository URL. I will share in the chat also. You can access this link. Yeah, you click on that link so that you can access our TimeLeaf application. I will post the notes also now itself so that I don't forget that. WebMVC notes available in our 27 SBMS. Edit it, update the notes. Yeah. Can you guys check it? The notes is uploaded. Is it having the latest content? Could you please confirm that? So yesterday project repository URL also I have given, and today's project repository URL also I have given in the chat box. Exit that. Done. Perfect. Anybody having any questions, you can unmute and you can ask me now.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So as one example, dealing with the date and image and file.
Sure, sir. We will do that. How to upload the image file into database server, right?
Yes, sir. Because not database, sir. Front end, sir.
From front end, how to upload the file? Okay.
Sir. How to receive data type in controller also, and
Sure,
how.
sir. We will make one example on that.
Okay, sir.
Sir, the first video, sir, TimeLap and JSP. How we can use?
Can you come again?
The difference between TimeLap and JSP.
Difference between TimeLeaf and JSP. As I told you, JSP cannot be executed in the browser directly. JSP pages should be converted to servlet. That servlet will send the response to the browser. When you go for TimeLeaf we can use in the HTML pages directly to make a HTML as a dynamic web page. So TimeLeaf is faster than JSP.
Okay, sir.
TimeLeaf is faster than JSP.
We will be seeing the TimeLeaf next classes also, no, sir? Coming classes also.
Coming classes means we are going to do form validations on the TimeLeaf.
Yes, sir.
This
And
form is
again,
available.
displaying the products in a tabular form using time.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, how about for validation's sake, can we use Java script, sir, in TimeLeaf?
Sir, validations are two types. One is client-side validation, another one is server-side validation. To perform the client-side validation, we can go for JavaScript. Spring MVC provided support for the server-side validation. Tomorrow, I am going to show you server-side validation.
Hello?
Sir, so for client-side validation, there is no other choice other than JavaScript, sir.
JavaScript, we can use jQuery, we can do that.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay, in real time, which one is best?
Sorry?
In real time, which one is best? I mean, TimeLeafs or Angular or React?
Sir, TimeLeaf, JSP, these are outdated concepts, guys.
Okay.
For the front end in the real time, some people are using Angular, some people are using React.
Yeah, but why TimeLeaf is outdated? It is simple and page loading is easy, right?
But in the Angular and React, more advanced features are available.
Okay.
Yes, right.
Hello, sir?
So just for the sake of syllabus, I'm covering this JSP components and time leaf components. Otherwise, it is not required.
Okay, then we no need to mention in resume.
No
This
need,
one.
not required. So nobody will ask any question on the JSP and time leaf because it is already outdated.
Okay. Thanks.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Sir, what is the difference between @valid and @validated?
Tomorrow you will understand that form validations I will explain.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, if
Yep.
in time leaf, if we want to use like radio buttons or select option or checkbox.
It is just like a HTML only, right? Input type is equal to select, input type is equal to radio. How you will use HTML tag? Same thing we need to do that.
Okay.
It is just in the HTML we are adding time leaf engine. That's it. So whatever the radio button, drop down checkboxes, how you will do it in the HTML? Same thing you need to do here.
Hello, sir.
Yep. Hello.
What is a Spring Boot profile?
Spring Boot profile. I already shared a video to understand what is profiles concept. You did not watch that video.
Okay.
I will share it once again. You can search in the YouTube Spring Boot profile Ashok IT. 1 hour video I have uploaded. I have given that video in the chat box. Even I mentioned in the notes also.
Okay.
You did not watch it. Please do that. Fine, guys. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll continue in the tomorrow session. Bye-bye. Good night. Please practice the JSP example and time leaf example. Code also I have shared in the GitHub. So tomorrow we'll understand how to perform the validations in our WebMVC application. Thank you, guys. Good night.